Good day, and welcome to the band arranging workshop at CMS at the chapel. You're just laughing at me because you know I'm not as organized as I made myself sound there. Yeah, good to be here. We're going to be talking about how we try to make music together as a band, and we're going to share some of the things that have been helpful to us. Before we do that, I would like to introduce the band to you, if that's all right. These guys are the Worship Republic. We've been playing together for about, well, Daniel and I have known each other for about
long time.
A few decades. A long time. We grew up in Cape Town, South Africa, in another era. But this is Mr. Daniel O'Nellis on the bass. And he's one of the funniest bass players you'll ever meet. But he can also play bass. He's played for a lot of different people. Gunga, Tim Hughes, Tree 63, most famously, I suspect. Who else, Dan?
Matt Maher.
Matt Maher? Yeah.
One Sonic Society.
One Sonic Society, yeah. Are you playing the next gig?
I don't know. I haven't had the call yet.
Well, there you go. That's part of being a bass player. Yeah. So that's Dan O'Nellis. He knows stuff. On the drums.
Thank you. One fan.
Thank you, Mom. Yeah.
That's my sister.
We call him Big Daddy because he has 4 children.
Woo.
Even though he's the youngest guy in our band. This is Ben Showalter. And he's played with all the same people that Daniel's played with, except for Tree 63.
But he's played with Chasing Furies,
and
Sonic Flood, Ginny Owen,
Luna Halo. And he's a drummer at Grace Chapel in Nashville.
Awesome.
There. Very nice. And then on the electric guitar, he's actually nursing an injury today. He put his back out trying to move one of those amps earlier on, and he can't look to the side. So all joking must take place on this side of the room. There you go. This is Scotty Murray. And he's also played for a number of people. Aaron Schust, Rebecca St. James, Brian Luttrell. I like to bring that up a lot, but he plays a lot of sessions, recordings in Nashville, and he knows his business. He grew up playing rockabilly music in Yuma, Arizona. All right. Thank you, rockabilly person, or just supportive person. So, we normally like start talking, and then we don't stop talking for like 55 minutes. But if you're up for it and amenable, we have a man called Dan on the ground with a roving microphone. And I'd like to invite you to ask questions if you have them. I'm guessing you probably do. But this is a good, safe place to ask any kind of question. Don't worry if you think it'll betray your ignorance. You can be absolutely sure that I am more ignorant than you are. And these guys will probably have to explain what the question means before they answer it to me. But before we do that, so if maybe you've got some questions, maybe you're interested in asking something, while you're considering that, maybe we can play a little game just to get our brains working. Name that tune. You ever played Name That Tune? Yes. Yes. All right, I'm just going to get things going in this fashion. Wow.
Even Stevens.
You're always disappointed at how much I played there. You got it so fast.
I was going to name it before you
Let's start. All right, here we go. And this one? No. Yes! Who got that? Respect. I had no expectation about that. Wow, Scrubs by TLC. obviously a big influence in worship music. So good, man. Way back there. That's fantastic. All right. Well, I'm going to get even more obscure now. Whoops. That's a rider. The hint is badly played. No? Yes. I know it's kind of embarrassing to have to acknowledge that you know his music, but yeah, very good. Very good. I don't think I've got anything else. Yeah. What about you, Danny? Nice. Even with a back injury, you came in there, Brian May. Good work. Very nice.
No one even has to say it.
No.
They just
It's
go,
almost yeah. All right. That's good.
What about this one?
Yes.
Nice.
He's nice.
Yeah.
I bet you never thought you'd hear that in a chapel. Any other ones? No. Ben? Very good. These guys are trashing you guys, man. What's going on? Okay, be ready. Wow, okay. Umbrella. Rihanna. Yeah, obviously a big influence in worship music. I think her and TLC. Yeah. Holla. All right. I'm giving you a shot. Very good. I just ignored you guys. You got that. It's fantastic. They are a big influence, I guess, just like Rihanna. Yep. No? Nothing else? Come on. Please. Very good. You got it. So close, though. Yeah.
Yes.
Yes. And
Awesome.
Yes,
Awesome.
50 ways, yeah. You guys are redeeming yourselves, man. This is good. All right. That's it. Scotty, what you got there back in the archives? Okay. Maybe it's proximity. The worst part of this game with Scotty is he hates to stop playing the thing. Like the moment someone guesses it, he's like, I didn't hear that. And he keeps going. He learnt it. He's might as well play.
Not got it yet?
Yes, no. All right. Huh? Nice. Rihanna.
Did I get?
So, yes, Fleetwood Mac.
Nice.
That's good. Fleetwood Mac's a respectable band to know.
You know any Christian songs?
Yeah.
You know any Christian songs? Just kidding.
Come on, do another one. All right, you're in the game. It's pub quiz season. We could do this for the next hour. I bet there's somebody in Australia going, why did I tune into this? All right, we're going to do the...
Yeah.
Yes. Yeah. Last one, be ready. You have to shout pretty loud. As soon as you think you've got this, go for it. Man, he normally likes to keep going. It's very good. Eye of the Tiger. I mean, who doesn't want to start worship with Eye of the Tiger? All right.
Favorite song.
All right.
What's that?
You played that Easter Sunday? Play the other one that we heard got played on Easter Sunday. Come on. From our Christian cover band, GCDC.
JCDC.
Yeah, it's not bad. Yeah. Hell's Bells. Yeah, but there's, we're thinking of doing Highway from Hell. Wouldn't that be good? Yeah.
No.
All right. But GCDC, come on, man. We could start a revolution. All right.
All right, back to it.
I know. Someone's going to have to sanctify the chapel after we leave.
We've actually made Christian lyrics to all these songs. It's
Yeah.
okay.
What have you got?
Not singing them now.
He's lying. All right. Okay. So let's start talking about dynamics, if that's all right. We'll do dynamics. It's just a word, but basically when I say the word, what I mean is there's some kind of movement of energy in the song. So you've got gears, to switch analogy. So say you start your song in the first gear, and then you ramp up to the second gear, and then you hit the third gear, and you're cruising, and you back it down to the second gear, and then you go up to the fourth and up to the fifth. I could keep talking like this for about a minute, but you get the idea. That ability to do that, even just playing on your own, can make the difference for everybody else who's in the room for you. Because even though they won't come up to you afterwards and say, man, I love the way you changed gear in the second verse, they'll notice it, they'll feel it. And a lot of these things that we do are designed, well, they're all designed really just to help people worship. That's our goal. That's it. Like I guess we can make it complicated, but already all we want to do is lead a large group of people who don't normally sing songs in worship. It's quite a big challenge. Like, you just think of some of the friends you know who don't sing. You're asking them on a Sunday morning to get up there and just sing, like to rock and roll music. I sometimes feel like I'm cruel. Like, we're just like, now we're going to have a rock and roll concert and you have to sing your prayers. I feel like we need to ease these people in somehow and just make it okay for them, you know. I think of my dad. My dad's my reference point. He's kind of standing at the back of the room and he's holding his mug of coffee. He's like, oh no, not another girly song. Don't know why he speaks like Tommy Lee Jones, but he does in my head. He does. So our goal is to help all these people who don't necessarily love music as much as we love it. They're not spending all their available cash on iTunes. Oh, I could just buy 3 more of those. No one's going to notice. They're not doing it. They're not interested in music the same way we are. But they do love the Lord, and they do want to worship Him. So we're trying to help these non-musicians, most of them, worship Him with music. It's quite a big, it's a big ask. Can you think of anywhere else where you just get a large group of people together in a room and say, all right, we're singing for 30 minutes. Let's do it. It hardly ever happens. So we're just trying to make it easy for them. And some of the things we're going to talk about today, some of the things that we use and try are an attempt to make it easy for those people. We're just trying to help them worship God with music. And I'm always like slightly tickled that we get to use music. It could have been anything else, you know. It could have been wood carving. Think about it. Instead of like Christian Musicians Summit, it could be Christian Woodcarvers Summit. There'd be people gathered from all over the country talking about whittling. And it is kind of amazing to me, though, that God appreciates music and He loves it. He references it in Scripture. Sing a new song, play skillfully to the Lord. It could have been wood carving, man. It's amazing. Anyway, I'm still stunned that they let us make this kind of music in church. My first year as a guitarist was spent with the amp off. They wouldn't allow me to turn the amp on. Good times. Yeah. But God does appreciate that stuff. Anyway, so let's talk a little bit for the next 15 to 20 minutes about dynamics. Dynamics, lending some kind of breath and movement to the arrangement of the song that you're doing. There are a couple ways to do it. One way, the simplest way, is to hit your instrument harder or softer. I mean, literally, that's it. And it's instinctive, typically. But sometimes it's nice just to have it in mind, maybe just revisit it. So if I was leading worship in a small group, normally, I'll be using this all the time. This is my go-to maneuver. So I'm going to play all 6 strings. I'm just going to hit them harder or softer. Went softer there. Hearts are stirred. We long for you. It's not complicated, right? But it kind of just keeps the interest. And the thing is, these songs that we're playing, because the people who are singing them aren't musicians, we're trying to make them simple songs. They're typically pretty simple songs, which means there's not a lot of dynamic movement in the chords. You're not changing chords it's GC-DC, man. So one of the things you can do to spruce up your song is just strike your instrument harder or softer intentionally. And typically, when you see, you find strength to face the day. When you hit the chorus, you kind of want to be your presence, all our fears are washed away. Yeah, it's simple, but it works. Now, if you do that with a band, it gets even more interesting. It's kind of fun. So this is an exercise. Maybe you can try it next time you get together as a band. Pick 4 chords and just say, all right, now we're all going to play the same part. You're not allowed to play a different part. You have to play the same thing all the way through. And let's just see if you can, but just by hitting your instrument harder or softer, take the dynamic, the energy of the song up and down together. All right, so we're going to do that with G, C, E, C. Sorry, we were all in.
1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6.
Same parts all the way through, right? And even if you've just been playing your instrument for a couple of months, you can still do this. It's kind of a good exercise just to practice tracking with each other. At 8. So that's one way to do it, just hitting it harder or softer. The other way is to add layers of parts or sound. And I just think of those like terraces, like you're adding it, and you start with one layer, then you add another layer on it, then another layer and another layer. And, if all 4 of us are doing it, like it has the potential to be exponentially interesting because we're all doing it simultaneously. So if I was just leading worship on my own, very often I just start just playing on the top 3 strings. So just do my changes just like that. I'm just spelling them out with three strings. And then when I hit the chorus, I'll come in with and I'll introduce the bottom 3 strings. Keyboardists do this instinctively. I think you start up maybe upper register and then you move it down an octave or 2. So let's try that together as a band, and then what we can do is work our way around and find out what everyone did.
1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6.
So 4 chords. It's like, that's it. And that normally helps worship a lot. And it's an easy little practice to do, easy discipline to do. So let's just find out, just for the sake of people who are playing other instruments, what did you do, Daniel, in that little song?
So applying the same principle that he used with the acoustic guitar. Acoustic guitar is kind of sitting in the mid-range of the sound spectrum. And I started by not playing at all because bass is quite a dominant instrument, so I'll lay back and not play at all. Let the song start without me. Then eventually come in, it automatically takes it up that little layer. And I came in up high up here so that I'm in a very similar register. I'm right up in the middle register. The further away I move down into the lower register, the more dynamic it is, the more bigger it sounds. So I waited for a while up here in this high register, playing single notes for the whole bar. 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, like that. And then eventually I moved down to here, playing big notes. And then to get the groove going and pushing a little bit harder, I started playing the 6/8 groove that Ben was playing. And then eventually when we were on full gears at top-notch level, I was playing big eighth notes. And then at the end of the phrase, just to get... And then back towards the end when we slowed down, I came up high again, up to the high G.
High G.
There we go. Sorry, a little outburst there.
Had to get it out.
Yeah.
How about you, Bones? Where'd you go?
I took the same concept. Instead of playing the whole kit, you break it down to, basic 6/8 beat, which is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. I saved the snare for later, so I played the backbeat accent on the hi-hat. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. And then I brought in the backbeat later on. you know, obviously I'm hitting softer and louder as we progress, and I followed the bass pattern in the bigger parts. At the end, I'm still playing that same beat, but I switched the sound source that I played it on. So I moved to the ride cymbal and the floor tom. So I changed it up a little bit, but basically I'm playing the same thing the whole time.
Very good. Shifting sound sources, I like that. It's a useful phrase. How about you there, Uncle Scotty?
I kind of started off that that down section. You started playing the intro, so I used that kind of downtime to build a little pad. And I don't know, should I talk about that?
Yeah.
We're kind of a small band, so we don't have a keyboard player or a second electric player, so I do some tricks to kind of make it feel like there's more going on up here than there are. What I'll do is I use just any kind of delay pedal that has a little looper function. It doesn't have to be long because I only use like maybe 2 seconds tops. But this is what the loop ended up sounding like, and it's running through this separate amp. But should I show them how I do it?
Yeah. Would you
Y'all want to know about that? Yeah. And it just drones very like a tonic and maybe a 5 note, and every once in a while I'll get a third in there, but I don't let the third jump out because it'll mess with the other changes. But just if you have a keyboard player in your band, you'll notice that there's not a whole lot of movement going on in a pad sound. So I use that to my benefit and just kind of do what a keyboard would do, but with guitars here. So what I'll do is I'll turn this little looper on, and so this is, you're not going to hear really anything, but this is me turning it on and then turning it off. So that's how long the loop is. That's how long the loop is. It's a very short little looped phrase, but it's in there just waiting for me to record on it. So what I'll do is I'll turn on a pretty heavy amount of delay. That's better. But yeah, I'll turn on a pretty heavy amount of delay, and then I'll get this looper going, and I'll play a chord and swell into it. Something. And maybe do a couple different shapes of that same chord. That's sounding a little bit wonky. Wah, wah, wah. Usually I try and do it a little smoother than that, but even if that's what it ends up sounding like, in the back underneath the track, it sounds kind of cool. So I build a little loop and just let that play. Watch, play over that.
Sing over you.
Just play your bit. So that's just like kind of going on, and it just makes it. That's good enough to stop immediately. That's like good enough to build on, you know. That's a super cool little foundation. So I don't have to constantly be making racket to fill in all the holes, because that's kind of filling in all the holes. So then I can kind of play like a guitar player for a while, turn on some tremolo and back the delay way down, and just play some big chords. Doing at the top, playing just diamondy kind of things, leaving a lot of space. And then our second gear, we brought it up a little bit heavier. I turn the tremolo off and play up, same thing, but just up a range. So instead of playing harder or more, I just changed the range of where I was playing. So instead of playing down here, I went up to here. So it just kind of moved where I was playing. And then once we took it up to probably our third and final gear, same thing. I gave it a little bit more juice and played more of an eighth note kind of a feel. Kind of the same thing that Daniel does. We all just, eventually in pop music, top of the line is eighth notes. Once you hit eighth notes, you're there, man.
There's no further than that.
about it. Then I just kind of reverse engineered it towards the end.
It's very good.
Nice.
Nice. Should we take a moment to ask some questions? Anyone got a question they want to ask? I see. Hey, Dan's ready. There's a guy near the tower.
Near the microphones up there.
There we go.
I'm just wondering, from a songwriting perspective, a lot of times we're hearing a song that's already been produced. We're checking it on YouTube, and we follow that structure.
Right.
When you're introducing a brand new song, how do you approach it with the band, and how do you arrive at that arrangement? Maybe give us an example of something you've done.
Sure. So, if you've written your own song, how do you eventually come to an arrangement that you like? Trial and error mostly. So I unleash a new arrangement on unsuspecting congregations each week, and then the ones that work I keep. But it's almost like a consensus thing, because eventually, we've been playing together a while now, man. If Ben was like, no, man, we need to play that twice, he could do that. He could make us do it, and we'll follow him. If anyone feels, I always think a band is like 4 people, or however many people there are in your band. They're inside an elastic band, just like this large elastic band. And then whoever's got the strongest feelings on anything will lead the group, but the rest of them have to follow. It's super democratic and quite painful if the band snaps. But if one of us goes, man, I really think we should do this, then and they've got enough desire or commitment to go somewhere, the rest of us will kind of tag along. But there's a song we've been doing the last couple of days, which is kind of a version of that old hymn, Just As I Am. And I'm still we're scheduled to go in the studio in the next little bit to record that. I'm still trying to figure out the best way to play that song and which verses to use and how to do it. And so we've kind of done a different arrangement on most weekends. And I think I'm settling down to one that I like. But it's pretty democratic, boys.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
I follow Brenton's body language a lot. Even when we're trying out new songs, I can kind of tell where he's going just by if he looks like he's really into it and he's starting to move a lot. I know he's going to get big or repeat a section. If you watch him during worship, you can kind of see his headstock go up or down. I'm also following that too, because he'll kind of tell me if he puts it down, then I'm going to go down dynamically, or we're going to go to a verse section or something like that.
Like I do a lot of kicking. Yeah.
I think what's quite helpful sometimes is Brenton will bring a new song, and obviously having the chords helps. I'm going to play this new song, follow me. It's in G. And we get some kind of idea what the chords are, but he gives us a reference of something that he thinks it's kind of like. It's kind of like this kind of song. And then you go, oh. And if your whole band knows what that is, it's helpful too. And if you want to bring a reference guide to people that are not that, like weekend warriors that are not that proficient at playing, it can help them if they hear the reference. So if you've got a new song and you feel like it falls into this kind of category of a Tomlin song or this kind of song, then for the drummer and bass player, if you play that song, they go, oh, that's that kind of groove. Immediately the song's going to be a lot easier to play because they've got some kind of headspace about what kind of groove the bass and drums are going to be on, or what kind of sounds the guitar player is going to use. And then you'll be probably a lot happier as a writer because it'll sound like what you had in your head maybe. And then from there you can shift around, and if it doesn't work, and let everybody try other things, I guess.
It's very good. I mean, every record I've done, even, from back in the Vineyard days to did Everlasting God with Nate, Christy's husband produced it, and he had all these Nashville players who came in, and it's what they do. I still made them listen to my reference, which was Wilson Phillips.
I know.
Seriously though, I did make them listen to Wilson Phillips. Yeah. Just put this in there. And that was the point that Nathan went, sometimes it's nice to know where you start. Yeah. But then we leave it for a while. But that's actually Very good. Yeah, there's another one.
I'm a keyboardist, and I used to play alone a lot, and now I'm in a band in Pittsburgh with these great guys. I'm just trying to find out, as a keyboardist or any of the guitar players, when you're maybe the left hand, you might play a root and a fifth and the octave, and then play chords with your right hand. Or in jazz, maybe you might play a first and a seventh, and then take the middle of the chord and put the third and the fifth in the right hand. Right. I always feel like when I listen to you guys or other contemporary bands, it seems like the sound is very open, and it's not cluttered, and it's really good, and it doesn't seem like it's technically super hard, but it's the sound is amazing. What are you actually doing to get that great sound? Spacing the chords out, or how you're breaking them down, or how you're putting them down?
Kind of you to say. Sometimes we get it right. You want to go?
Sure. I'll take this guy.
Stop that immediately. Yeah. Less is more.
Yeah.
Less.
I kind of see it like this. Which I see it like this. You want 100% of music happening. You know, you want 100% happening. You don't want any more than 100% happening ever. You know, because it just makes things sound unintelligible. So in a small band like this is a pretty small band. Like, we all get to play a lot. You know, we all kind of need to play a lot. You know, and I play a whole lot in this band. I'm over here just making racket like crazy the whole show. But that's just because we're a smaller band. Like, the moment we add one more element to the band, if we had a second electric guitar player, what I do gets cut in half, you know? Same with, like, if we get a keyboard player, like, I immediately start thinking about what I'm going to do totally different. And it's fun both ways. It's fun being in a small band where you get to do a lot, but it's a whole different kind of fun. And being in a big band where you have to think smarter and smaller, you have to really get intentional. But it's just as much fun to me to play smaller and smarter than it is to be big and noisy. You know, it's just a totally different way of approaching it. And I guess with keyboard players, the thing is that it may be the most boring job in a worship environment to be a keyboard player. Maybe every once in a while you'll get a little piano intro, you know, and then you're stoked because you got your piano intro, and that's cool. But if you can stop seeing it as, oh man, I'm super limited here, this is terribly boring, and start thinking of, like, these are the parameters. What can I do that would be cool within these parameters? You know, you have to lay out a lot of the bottom end because you got a bass player. You know, you don't want to get too crazy in the top end if the guitar player is doing a high hooky thing, or if in the mid range if the guitar player is chugging away at chords, you'll take maybe some top end, but you'll pick your notes and be choosy about what you play. It's a whole different way of thinking of things rather than just giving it horns. You know, you got a sustained pedal and 88 keys, you got us all beat.
From a bass player's perspective, if you're playing roots and fives and all that stuff down there, bass players have passing tones that we choose to move from one chord to another chord, and little riffs and little things that lead us around, you know, bass lines. And so if you're playing a passing tone on the keyboard, you could have a completely dissonant tone against the move that I'm making. So you don't want to do the kind of things you would do as a piano player if you're leading by yourself, where you would do those passing tones. If you're going to play down there, you've got to play a root note, like roots, and just change as the root changes. That's fine because it's like a droning root note. It's not going to really be dissonant against something that I would do. But if you're starting to do other changes, moving around like a bass player, it's going to start getting really weird. And sometimes if you're hitting exactly the same note as a bass player, it can sound funny because the string it kind of moves. It doesn't have a dead note. If it's a real piano, it's one thing because it's also got a string. But it's kind of it can sound like it creates funny stuff. So if you're playing a different octave to what the bass player's playing, it's kind of cool, I think. And you can come and land on big chords at the end, with the bass player where he's playing a diamond, like just a big note, and it can add that massive punch with the piano. It sounds cool. But just remember those movements down there that could potentially get in the way.
I'll finish my thought off really quick.
Sorry, Scotty.
Whatever. But
Carson over here.
I'll carry your bags to the airport.
Thanks. But I think it really all boils down to context. Context is everything. Like just depending on what type of music you're playing, that's what type of sounds you're going to want to go for, and hopefully you have some really good references for those sounds and those types of playing. So if you're playing in a worship band, the odds are you're basically playing pop music, and you listen to some pop music and figure out what is the keyboard role in a pop setting, and it's pretty much the same. It's very similar to what you'll be doing in a worship setting, and of course the worship music has its own kind of sounds as well, but it all just kind of is derived from what's popular at the time, So you just context, Don't play a salsa type intro to a worship song unless you're in a salsa worship band.
Which is a niche market, I suspect, yeah.
I think it happens a lot, man.
Yeah. In the Southwest. You also kind of answered your question when you said, like, how many different color tones are you going to put in your chord? And it's partly out of stupidity and partly intentionally, but I hardly play anything beyond the root and the fifth. Like, so pretty as well. I play I hardly ever play chords that sound like this. There's too many sounds in there. So I normally end up playing, I end up strumming these two strings. That's pretty much where I hang out. And my changes are all just kind of hinted at. I'm really just playing two strings. And that kind of opens up some of the space. Sometimes we talk about that spectrum of sound that we have. It's a little bit like a church parking lot. There are only so many parking spaces. And if someone's already in one, you're going to have that fight that you have on Sunday mornings. You know the one. So it's almost like someone's going to have to go, that's my parking space, get out of it. And I do think keyboards, their time is coming. It really is. Tom Brooks is here. He used to run this, man. He ran this. His song arrangements were what we used. I learned to worship with Ron Canoli's records, and Tom was the guy making all those changes, and all those sounds worked so good on keyboard. And it feels like things are going to swing back. So your time is coming. That's what I would say. Yeah. All right. Hey, since we're on the topic of clutter and keeping it clean, making the sound accessible and not too muddied, maybe we can talk about how the rhythm section approaches music.
Who was in the bass and drum class? Anybody? Guess you might have heard this already, but we just want to talk about the relationship between the bass guitar and the kick drum, and that's something that a lot of people don't realize. And we mentioned in our class that if you kind of you don't do this like we do this every week, and we're playing all the time. So we get used to being up here, and it's kind of like our job. So we're very comfortable. So I get to listen to these guys a whole lot because I'm used to what I do. If you're up here, once every month you get to play, then you might be really concentrating on what you've got to do, and that can cause you to become very focused on just yourself. And if you're listening just to yourself, then you're not listening to the other guys. You can end up playing whatever you feel like playing. And that might not line up exactly with what the drummer's playing, especially with a groove pattern. And so we listen to each other a lot, and I watch what he's doing on his kick drum, and he's listening to my groove, and we end up playing the same kick pattern. And so, for example, if I was playing be playing. And that's going to make it nice and clean and punchy sounding, and it'll sort out that kind of mess that you have on stage. So if you're thinking, what's going wrong, something's wrong, just check out that relationship between bass and drums. There's a song, a lot of the songs we have are kind of much more drivey than that, but there's a song, Your Love Is Amazing, which has got a specific groove to it, and it goes like this.
1, 2, 3, 4.
And I'm playing. And if we mess that up, like if I play. Can you hear my Pat's going is trying to force a more straight groove, and he's trying to have a kind of swingy kind of groove, and it really sounds messy. So listen to that. And if you're a worship leader and you can have some kind of language to help your band now, hopefully that you can use that language to help them.
Yeah, there's no mixing that problem away. Your sound engineer can't solve that particular problem. You have to play that one.
It's not a hard and fast rule that you have to play everything that the kick drum plays, but you want to play the groove that the drummer's playing. So let's play the Coldplay Clocks kind of groove, and you'll see what Ben's doing there. He's playing. Give it
1, 2, 3, 4.
So his kick drum's not going. His kick drum's going. I'm not going to go do 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 do. I'm not going to play that bass line, but I am going to play his whole groove is da 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 da, and a lot of it's happening on the snare as well. So I'm following his groove by going. Even though I'm playing eighth notes, I'm actually emphasizing the right eighth notes to help his groove make sense. Does that make sense to you guys? Cool.
Yes, there is another question, Dan. There's a lady here on the fourth row, I believe. I'd like to take this opportunity to tell one bagpipe joke. What's the difference between a bagpipe and a trampoline? You take your shoes off when you jump on a trampoline.
Nice.
The floor is yours, man. Yeah.
If you were just starting a band with rather inexperienced people, what do you think is the most important position to have your best, your most talented person, or your most technically proficient person? Is it the drums? Is it guitar? You know, like which one do you want to have the most experience?
I would think you want them all to be decent.
Yeah, but if you can't, like,
but
if you're just starting.
If you were in a plane and you had to choose who got kicked out, where would you start? The worship leader, maybe? It's got to be the drums.
That's
I
what
think so too. Yeah.
Well, let's just turn it the other way around. The drums, if your least proficient player is on the drums, that player will drive worship for however many people there are in your church.
Right into the ground.
Yeah. Or into heights of amazement. Yeah.
I do have a thought, if you'll let me speak.
Continue immediately.
I don't know if it really takes unbelievably talented people to pull this music off a lot of the times. I think it takes hard-working people. I'll take, if you say you've got two people, one is very talented and another is just hungry and wants to work hard and wants to be a part of the team. I'll take this guy every time, because I feel like this guy will actually show up more prepared than the talented guy a lot of the times. That's going to just show up and try and lean on his talent. You know, well, I was saying, it goes like this.
You want to drum roll this? This feels like this could be important. Yeah.
No. I I can't remember how I've said this before. I used to say it so clever. Now I can't think of
The
it.
best musician on the
Yes,
stage.
this is the one. The best musician on the stage isn't the guy who's the most experienced and the guy who can literally play better than everybody on the stage. The best musician on the stage is the one who knows the song well enough to perform it properly. You know, that's really all you're looking for. Is for some. You're not looking for the most talented people in the world. You're looking for people who will work hard enough to perform these songs nice and properly, so you can have a worship experience at your church. That's what you're really looking for.
And you don't need to, you don't need to be able to improvise for 18 minutes on 2 chords to do that. And if you could have someone who's been playing and recording for 20 years and someone who's just started 2 months. If they both learn the part and play it good, there's no difference between them on that day on that song.
Yeah.
It's kind of something to shoot for, isn't it?
Yeah,
Cool?
yeah. I mean, you may have a fellow who, if he wanted to, could sit down and learn the parts on the record that you're going to play in 10 minutes, but he doesn't. He shows up and does his own thing, and it sounds cluttery. Or you can have another kid who literally sat down for 4 hours and worked out this part and learned how to play it really well. And on that given day, that kid's the better musician.
Word.
Also, can I just say one thing about that? To shoot for the right tones is a really important thing that people they overlook. If you learn the part, that's great. But if you don't have the right guitar tone and the right kind of bass tone and the tones that you would get out of the drums, then it's not going to sound the same as the record that you're trying to get a hold of. A lot of that's guitar stuff. So guys that maybe are like Santana guitar players, if they want to play this kind of music, they're going to have to learn all that stuff that Scotty's got at his feet there to make it sound tonally like it should sound.
Yeah, I mean, back in the old days, it'd be very hard to find out we grew up in Cape Town, South Africa, which is a long way from here. And, we had no idea, man. We had no idea. Like if you got a PV amp, you thought you were the guy. Because the gear was so expensive and they had to ship it all the way out there, and we didn't know, people didn't tour in our town, we couldn't even see what they played on. It was just guessing. I remember getting a Marshall Valve State amp and thinking I was the Don in my town. I mean, someone came up to me and said, man, your tone, and I thought he was going to say, is incredible, and he went, sounds like a swarm of bees. And he was right.
Nice.
But these days, certainly in the States it's easier, but it's even easier than that these days because you can research.
You can. Well, when I'm 35, I don't know, I don't look it, but
You don't look at a day over 40.
Don't look at day over 70. All right.
I'm an idiot. But when I was younger, when I was in high school and into my early 20s, this is before really that internet thing. It's really taken off. But this is before all that was really going on, and I was super hungry for this thing. I wanted to know about this. I wanted to know what people were playing. What kind of gear were they getting these sounds with? So I literally had to. You couldn't just Google it. Now it's unbelievable. You could. It's really the future now. You want to know anything, you just ask your computer. What is? How far is it to the moon? And it'll tell you immediately. But anything you want to know, you can find this stuff out. But I used to I'd travel miles on end to go to some show and get there early while they're sound checking, and I'd be on stage, you're get out of here. I'm and go and look and see what's going on. What kind of gear are these people using? But nowadays, if you like a sound, you like what something sounds like, you can pretty much find out what kind of stuff they're using immediately, And it's usually all the same stuff everybody else is using pretty much, but you don't know that until you Google it. So...
Yeah. Whoa. Yeah. There are 2 questions here. Almost. I wonder if you could ask them simultaneously.
This is real quick. heard a couple of your songs yesterday, so I went and Googled them because they are on the CDs of yours that I have. The one you mentioned, Just As I Am, and also the one
God My Rock.
God My Rock.
Yes.
And are there ones you haven't, neither of me haven't recorded because I couldn't find anything out about them.
Very good. You're in the future.
You are in the future.
Are you from the future? Those, God willing, those are coming out in October.
Yeah.
Maybe slightly before that. The record.
As of now, they live in my computer.
Yeah, they are inside his computer. So, yeah, we've got like 2 months to go before those come out. Thank you. Yeah, God My Rock is the record.
Kind of a question more for Scotty over there. I'm a guitar player myself, and the worship team I play in, I'm the only guitarist, so I feel what you're doing up there. I see a lot of movement, and that's kind of what I do. But we got a new guitar player in the band. He's not really skilled, but how do you go from being real busy to trying to rewire your brain to slow it down? How do you decide who does what? And obviously a little bit based on the skill, but you know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
It's tough to slow down.
Pointing and shaming. I just want to get in there.
Shaming
that
always
works really well. Just pointing and then.
Let me show you. Let me show you something. Just this look. It's super subtle. Just this. That.
Huh? Powerful. Yeah.
Very subtle. Hardly anybody will notice it.
Yeah.
But your point will come across.
Yeah.
No. I think that I think you've got to get some communication going on. If is he a young guy or an older fella? 15. Okay, cool. Is he? What's his hair like?
It's like your hair. It's like that.
A bit of
Like
bees.
jazz hands. Yeah.
A bit of bees.
Ridiculous. It's pretty important, you know. When you see you have a picture of him.
Stupid.
No. But,
This is 3 minutes.
okay. All right.
minutes,
All
3
right.
minutes, yeah.
Sorry.
There's a guy in Australia waiting to go to sleep.
I'm sorry. Okay. I would say you got to communicate really well. If he's a young guy, and I mean, something that people really skip on these days because they have all these tricks, you know, all these big washy sounds, is just straight, nice rhythm pocket playing. If you can convince him for a while, if he's still quite new on the team, to just take small portions of chords and just get his rhythm playing really happening. Like what's a song we do? Like what was the one we just played a minute ago? Huh? The one you did your demonstration for.
Your Love is Amazing.
Your Love is Amazing. Play that thing really quick. See, I'm just going to show you, like, if there was 2 guitar players, what would be nice if in a perfect world. So if one guy's going, can we all play it? I'm not playing a big bunch of chords. I'm not playing. I'm playing smaller parts. And if you can maybe talk him into playing rhythm parts, and he could even play a little bit busier even, but just less, not a lot of notes. Just little parts, and then it'll leave you some room to play maybe some stuff up here. Give you some room to play a little bit. It'll give you guys some parameters, that you can fall in. But I'm always listening to that. If I'm playing with another guitar player, I'm seeing where they're at, and I'm trying to find small places that I can play in between. So even if he's not doing what you want him to do, it's a whole nother trick, and it's kind of fun to find a place to fit in.
All right, man, there's so many questions, but I know we're ending the webcast in like 30 seconds, so I'm going to give the webcast the take-home thought, which is this. The best musician on the stage is the one who knows the song and can play it proficiently, no matter how long they've been playing music, no matter